dependent on what you're looking for. There are some people that are looking for scholarships, loans, probably to the US and Canada, and some people are looking for admissions, and also maybe they can get that kind of scholarships and loans. So we have these reps from top universities around the world, the US, the UK, Ireland, and Canada that'll be here. So you have the opportunity to meet them one-on-one, ask them questions, that you'd like. If you're looking to get an admission, if you have your documents, we'll give you the link. This technology world, some people have been asking, oh, should we come in with our documents and stuff like that? Not necessarily. If you have them in PDF on your phone, we'll give you the link for you to upload those details. I'll be able to process your admissions to the UK, US, Canada, and Ireland. And we also have, if you want to study medicine, we're representing University of Antigua. They are unable to come here, so I'll be taking questions concerning them for students that would like to take medicine, like study medicine rather, not take medicine. So if you have any questions before we begin, I'll be more than delighted to answer any questions. Anybody?
Your Lagos address. I don't know if you have branches in Lagos or address.
So for now, we don't have an address in Lagos, but the Kaplan office is one of our offices that you can pop in for admissions. But in the next couple of months, we'll be sharing our office address in Lagos to you. But as I said, it's like 2 years ago, some people would say that they have to go to church. Then COVID happened, right? So when COVID happened, we couldn't go to church, but we found a way to still praise God. And how did we do that? How did we do that? Pardon? Online, exactly. So online is taking over. And to be honest, if you really are thinking of traveling abroad, then you must get on that drug. Let me put it that way. The online drug. You must get on it. So that's why we're trying to save the trees, go green by even eliminating paper applications and stuff like that, and we do online registration, to be honest. So we've got our office in Abuja can take the whole of Africa in terms of manpower of people that will be sorting out your admission process. So we to answer your question, yes, no office, visible office, but we're very much online. And worst case scenario, we have WhatsApp or Zoom. If you'd like to see my fine face, just give a shout. And the whole idea at the end of the day is to make your journey perfect. So we're resigned to actually help you achieve that. Any questions, ma'am? Please just bear with us. We'll commence once those guys come through. All right. And if you have any questions, those are the Empower guys. They're here already. So if you have questions concerning them, you can deal with them. This is Kaplan UK pre-masters foundation programs. You can ask them a couple of questions while the others come through. All right. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Undergraduate. I'm sorry, postgraduate. Sorry, for the bachelor's guys, do you have any break in education, like study gap? When was your last level of education? Same too. 2002. Okay. What they call good applications and bad applications when it comes to going to Canada. These are serious details that we need to know about. First and foremost, for undergraduate students, if you're going to Canada and you have that long amount of study gap, then it becomes a problem, to be honest. If you're actually a master's student, then you can try and justify that maybe with work experience and stuff. But if you're an undergraduate student, you would have to prove what you've been doing in the last couple of years that you finished secondary school. That is one. So most times, from experience, you can still get, or you could still get an admission. But what's an admission if you don't have a visa, right? Visa is actually the ultimate thing, and our goal here is not just to hand out admissions to students. As a matter of fact, most of our reps are not even too happy when we see high volume of applications. We want to turn applications into visas, and that's what really makes us different from others. So in this case, in terms of visa, I must be honest with you, you have like about 10% chance of getting a visa at the end of the day. If you already have that much of study gap, the entry clearance officer will just simply say two things. They wouldn't mention the study gap, because if you know, the US and Canada most times will not give you the real details of why you have been refused. They have like a prototype answer that they give to you, except probably use an immigration lawyer. That's when they will now give you the real details of your refusal. So most of the time they'll probably say education gap and no ties to, they're not sure if you're going to come back to Nigeria. So if you're in that category for undergraduate, I'll actually advise you that it's better off for you to go to another country, maybe like Ireland or the UK. Now, why I've suggested these other countries is because at the end of the day, you want to leave the country. Do you understand? So why would you place your bet on some place that's, yes, PR and stuff like that, but you wouldn't get a visa? So if you're doing bachelor's, you can actually get a bachelor's, a BSc program in the UK that gives you a year placement. So if you're doing a year placement abroad, then you can actually go to Canada during that year placement, which is going to be a walk in the park, because you're already in the UK and you'll be evaluated not based on coming from Nigeria, but coming from another country entirely. So at the end of the day, you may look like you're going on a long journey, but it's still better off for you. So once you're done with the placements, then you can now decide maybe you do your master's in Canada. It makes life easier for you. But when you start having the refusals from here in Nigeria, you know, it's kind of like as if you're digging yourself, you're digging yourself in the mud and not able to come out of it. So I'll advise that if you're under that category for Canada bachelor's program, you may want to reconsider other countries, to be honest. If you're not able to explain the study gap years, it becomes difficult, even if you show that you have enough funds in your account. Even if, yes please.
What is the study gap?
Well, to be honest, it's, for instance now, if you've just finished secondary school, right? Maximum 1 or 2 years for every secondary school student to be at home. Even parents, if as a parent, if your child is already at home for more than 2 or 3 years, it's a worry, right? So imagine the ECO. So they'll just think that, you know, you've been in Nigeria, and again, have you done a bachelor's program in Nigeria? Do you understand? So if you've had that study gap from secondary school, do you have a bachelor's degree? The next question they're going to ask you is, why do you want to do another bachelor's program again? The immigration process, actually, this is what it does, like a curve. So they want students to progress, not, you know, go up, come down. What I'm saying is, for instance, if you have a bachelor's, say you want to do another bachelor's program again, then do a master's. Ideally, it's supposed to be bachelor's, pre-master's or master's, and PhD. Are we together? So in terms of the number of years, 2-3 years maximum. And those 3 years, you should be able to explain it. If it's more than that, then you apply. Even the UK would even ask you to explain the study gap, right? Even the UK would ask you to explain the study gap. The only difference is that they are quite lenient in terms of that. But Canada, US, and even Ireland, in some cases, they don't joke with it. So if you already have that study gap, then, and you've not done a bachelor's program, I would say you should do the UK. If you've done a bachelor's program, then you need to explain why you want to do a bachelor's program. Yes, please.
You have a study gap from your previous degree. So
okay.
Can you still
okay, so previous study gap, that means you've done a bachelor's, then you've done your NYSC.
Yes, HND, I've done my NYSC. I've been working also.
Okay, you've been working. So if you've been working, then that's fantastic. So obviously, in this case, you can't really be doing a master's, can you? Postgraduate. So yes, so it's a progress. Do you understand? So the curve or the life cycle is pretty much going up compared to if you had said you want to do another bachelor's program. So in your case, it's not a problem at all. So you can actually do a postgraduate. Obviously, use your CV to explain your study gap. Then with your funds, that should be fine. Okay. So for the guys that just came, good morning. We're just talking about where you're looking to study. Is it for you or for your kids? For yourself. Okay. Masters.
Masters, and I have someone for PhD as well.
PhD, brilliant. What country?
Canada.
Canada. All right. So you've been working, I presume, from your last. So okay. So in that case, it's pretty straightforward too, because if you're doing Canada, you can actually progress forward. Well, what we're looking at are good applications and bad applications. Trust me, it's very, very important from the beginning to know what kind of application you're doing. Most other agencies don't really care about it. They just want to give you an offer, take some money from you, but it doesn't make sense at the end of the day. Good applications is what's really paramount, and good application means tantamount to getting a visa at the end of the day. That is the whole essence of the whole process. So even if you have a bachelor's degree, if you have study gap, you can still explain the study gap, then proof of funds and stuff like that would cover you. But if you're a bachelor's student, if you're a secondary school student and you've not done bachelor's and you've had long study gap, I would advise from today that please shelve the idea that you want to go to Canada and the US, because right there and there you'll be evaluated based on that. You would get an you could get an admission, but visa, trust me, your chances are about 20%, to be honest. Also, for guys that have a bachelor's program, so Canada, another thing with Canada, 2-1 first class are students that they will take for direct masters. If you don't have a first class, if you don't have a 2-1, forget direct masters. That means you'll be doing a what? Pre-masters. Yes, last year was very, very crazy and funny, to be honest. And what I mean by that is, naturally, Canada universities and colleges hardly take third-class students. I don't know if you've tried it. It's like finding petrol in Abuja. I heard Lagos just had this petrol crisis. We've been dealing with it since January, really. So every other day we're actually buying black market since January. So basically, getting an admission for a third-class student for Canada is like finding a needle in a haystack. Pretty difficult. And if you do get it, the chances of getting a visa, it used to be 15% in my books, but last year, I think because of COVID, we saw a number of students that actually got it. Maybe like about out of 10 students that we had, we got about 4, and I did a survey with some other agencies too, and a few number, but it doesn't happen. Do you understand? It doesn't happen as that. So if you're a third-class student, I would advise you probably do a pre-masters. In the UK, Ireland won't take you either. The US, if you know the US visa application, you can either sway both ways. So you can't really predict that. But the best bet for you will be the UK. So I've seen people now going to the UK for pre-masters. The whole idea is a journey, really. So if you get into the UK pre-masters, when they finish it, then they apply to Canada for a master's program, and they get in. So at the end of the day, now you've gotten to best of both worlds. See, everything is easier when you're outside Nigeria. Is the truth. But when you're inside Nigeria, things are a little bit hardcore for us. So once you're out and you now apply to the schools, it's easier for you to now get in there. It's always pretty very straightforward and easy as far as you have the proof of funds. But if you don't have the proof of funds, you won't get in. But it's always easier to go through that channel. Any questions?
Rated high school, like SS3, and you got admission into a Nigerian university, and now the ASU strike.
Okay.
You're already in school, like I'm already in 200 level, and then the ASU strike, like how to?
Okay, so what country are you looking at?
Canada.
Canada, all right. So the whole idea in this case is to, first of all, what is your CGPA? It needs to be ascertained. Yeah, so that's the issue. Canada would ask for your CGPA to be able to do a transfer. And as I said, 2-1 first class student. So those are the bottlenecks. So if you have a CGPA within that that category, then you could get an admission. And I think visa shouldn't be an issue already, because your purpose or the reason is basically because of ASU strike. And your credentials and documents that you'll be supporting would obviously show that you're in school and so on and so forth. But in another case, another faster way to go about it are probably in Europe, the UK and Ireland. So automatically you can do an nobody will give you a second year, but you could do like an international year 1. So if you want to see her for that. So the international year 1 would mean that they would take your transcripts from your university, and in some cases, I'm not sure if probably your CV would do the trick, and your WIAC results, and your CV would explain the gap. So you get an admission into international year 1, and you just, in the next 2 years, you'll be graduating from the university in the UK. So if you now get a course that gives you placement here, you can now decide to probably go to America, Canada, Japan, anywhere to do your placement. But the whole essence really is getting the right admission. So in your case, yes, you can, but the faster route would probably be if you pitch your tent to the UK. And as you guys know, which country do you think has the best visa process? UK. Do we all agree? UK. So very straightforward. Very, very straightforward at the end of the day. I've seen a 60-year-old man with his son, his last and only son, and they were insistent on Canada. He had the money. He's been to Canada. He's a customs officer, big man then. Been to Canada several times, but they refused him. The kid has 2 sisters in Canada, legally in Canada, and the refusal reason was no recourse, that no ties back home, and they won't be coming back, even though they said they will come back. So when it comes to North America, visa process is either comme ci comme ça, neither here nor there. So you need to know what you're getting yourself into from the beginning, so that you can actually get all the necessary materials, funds, and all that to be able to achieve your desired results. Yes. It depends, really. So if you are finishing a program, then that's different. In this case, if you do a bachelor's program in the UK, you still have, I think, 1 year time to stay in the UK. So if you're doing a master's, you can actually apply for a study visa because you've been in that country for more than 2 years. So you can easily apply from the UK to Canada. If it's maybe after a foundation program or after a master's program, or pre-masters, that's when you have to come back to your home country to make the application again. At the end of the day, what is key really in applications are your history. So once you already have a visa to somewhere like the UK, Canada, Ireland, most times the UK, it's always easier for you to actually cross carpet to other countries, as far as you've not damaged your immigration history. Are we together? So that doesn't mean that, for instance, if you've applied to Canada before and you've been refused a visa, it doesn't mean that if you go to the UK, they wouldn't check with Canada. Do you understand? But what they will check is 2 things. Did you acknowledge on your form that you've been refused a visa to Canada before? If you haven't, I always give this evil laugh to students that don't do that. Because what it means is you get banned. We've seen it, 5 years, 10-year ban. Now, some students will come back and say, I didn't know. You're lying. Even me, I know that you're lying. You cannot say that you did not know. 2 years, 5 years, and you didn't declare it. Now, once you get a ban, so even if you've been banned from Canada before and you go to the UK, they are going to look at the merit of the application with the UK application. They're not going to look at, and vice versa also, they're not going to look at, well, at the end of the day, they'll still find out the reasons why, you were banned by Canada. So if it's by fraud, well, it's left to the ECO to make that decision, to be honest. Do you understand? If it's terrorism or any other stuff, automatically they wouldn't give you the visa. They wouldn't ban you. They wouldn't tell you the reason in itself, but you wouldn't just get the visa. So most times when you're making your applications, it's always important to give the truth. There's nothing wrong, it's not a stigma, it's not HIV to have a visa refusal. It's not. Trust me, it is not a stigma. So if you've had a refusal, please don't throw away that passport and go and do another passport and all those. Trust me, you're just digging your grave with stuff like that. Because once you found out, that's the end. And with most embassies nowadays, they're always cross-checking. Always, most especially the top ones. Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, Canada, and the US. They are always sharing information. I've seen ECOs at the last seminar we had the Irish Embassy. The head of visa was telling us how they have to wait for UK checks, Canada checks, and the US checks before they grant visas. So, for instance, UK checks is constant. But if you write that you've been refused by a country before, then they'll have to check with the country the reason for the refusal. If you don't write it, and they check with the country and they find out that you've been refused, you'll get banned. They wouldn't even just refuse you, they will ban you, and you can't overturn the ban because it's written on their constitution for immigration, blah blah, that students must always, tell them if they've had any refusals before. Okay?
So if 10 years, you also like to...
Please still mention the refusal. It's always, even UK schools, if you don't, I've seen students that have paid tuition fee and it comes to compliance interview where they get interviewed and they ask, oh, have you been refused a visa before? And you say yes. And they say, why didn't you put it in the university application ab initio? Sorry, we're not going to give you cash, we're refunding your money. That's how serious it is. So please, even if you can't remember the details of the refusal or you don't even have the refusal paper, still mention that you have been refused a visa before.
The refusal, like I did this Manitoba nominee.
Okay.
I already submitted my document and they told me that there was information mismatch on the express entry I filled. So at the end of the day, I was asked to reapply after 3 months, which I have not done. So it's not like I went to embassy, just between me and the Canadian.
So there's always a page or other information in every visa application form.
Okay.
Load that information there. It's better to say something than not say anything. Do you understand? So they could even advise you further in some cases. For instance, since it's Canada, if you're not doing for study, they could even look at the application and tell you, oh, this is about to blah, 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 instead of converting to do. So still mention. If you don't mention it, it's to them, it's as if you're trying to hide something. Okay? Any other questions, please?
Traveling agency, and we have this particular issue. There's this lady, she's married, but she's a divorcee with 2 kids. She was actually refused Canadian visa because she actually applied for a study visa to go with her kids. I think the issue there was that she was not going to come back. That's the reason. Okay, so now she wants to go to the UK for masters and maybe perhaps still go because her dream country is Canada. Then still move from there to Canada. So what's like her chances? Maybe going to do a second master's or perhaps like a PhD?
Well, if she's doing a PhD, she has stronger chances, to be honest. So what it means, basically, she was going for holiday in
that was
masters to Canada.
Yeah, but they refused that and then her bank statement was okay, but they said...
You're not sure if she's going to come back to Nigeria?
But she's going with her kids.
Okay. So if those kind of applications, if we were the ones doing those applications in the first instance, we would never list the students in the first application. We let the students get the visa first. Then before the children makes the application, most of the time, it's always best to do that. I've seen people like almost shoot me because of that kind of process, but I always tell them that, see, if you don't want it, go away with your application. So now the whole essence is this. if the parent or mom gets a visa, naturally the law allows that kids to go with them, right? So it would be pretty evil, if I put it that way, for mother to leave and the kids staying behind. So if you already have a visa as the student, then they would, on that merit, if all other documents, financial status are correct, they would allow the dependents to go with the main applicant. But if you apply together, they will just, put the application as one, and in that case, that could be, the result. But her going to the UK now is pretty okay. So she can do the masters in the UK. After doing the masters program, then if she wants to do a PhD, she can go to Canada. What it means basically is she's finished a master's program. There's no issue with that in the UK, and by rights she can do the PhD program itself. So they would look at her on the new merits, not based on the old merits. So even the ECU could even look at her and be like, oh, I actually kind of like they made a mistake at that time. So the person could, we've seen issues, the person will get the visa. But if you have dependents, please note that it's always best for you to apply for your visa first, get your visa, then your dependents now apply after. Same goes for the UK. Ireland doesn't accept dependents, neither does the US. So if you're doing the UK or Canada, ensure that you get your visa first of all, then your dependents can apply afterwards. Okay?
Applying for masters in Canada, is it best he or she gets the pre-masters first? What's the chances? Because he wants to go for masters.
Okay, so for polytechnic students, it's always a problem, to be honest. HND. So, well, it's always a problem really, but I would advise maybe the pre-masters first of all. Results even lower than the third class. So, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. So yes, pre-masters. If you get to school, fine. Then you have to deal with the whole visa issue. Do you understand? You really have to. So, but I tell students that have a polytechnic degree is maybe they're looking at doing like a bachelor's program or something. It's best for them to complete it here, if they can. Do you understand? Once you've completed it, then you're giving yourself enough arsenal to be able to apply for a visa. But yeah, because polytechnic degrees, to be honest, nowadays are pretty very low. And same with if you studied at any university in Benin Republic. Anybody University of Benin Republic? Any university in Benin Republic? Yeah. Okay, so that's good, because Benin Republic is a big problem when it comes to admissions, not even visa, because a number of schools will not take them. So we've seen students that have 2-1 bachelors and no university in the UK is taking them, because the degree for bachelor's program is, for the Benin Republic bachelor's program is very low. It's actually, I think, second year in Ireland, and even in the UK, I think maybe second or third year. So they'll be advising students to actually do a top-up program for third year or do a pre-master's. So I'll advise, if you know anybody that is thinking of going to Benin Republic to go and study, it's better you stay in Nigeria, to be honest. It's really better. Spend the money in Babcock University or any of our universities. They are far better off than universities in Benin Republic. And on top of that too, you still have to show English, results and stuff like that. So it's pretty much of a hassle in terms of Benin Republic. All right? Yes, madam?
I have a degree already.
Okay.
A PhD degree, and I want to go for another PhD degree. Does it matter? Does it affect?
Why do you want to go for another PhD degree?
I want to change my line of study entirely. And
Okay.
then the first degree, I had it all last week.
Okay.
So it's making me look at my chances of getting a master's. So that was what prompted me.
What course?
Biochemistry.
Biochemistry. And what course you want to go to?
Nursing.
Nursing. Okay. What country?
UK.
Okay, brilliant. So, well, before you guys came in, we're talking about good applications and bad applications. So it's always best to ascertain this from the word go if you really are looking to travel abroad, except people that like wasting their time. So in your case, the country that you're going to makes life easier for you. That's just the truth. If you said Canada, I would just say, let us kneel down and pray. you know. But in this case, it makes life easier for you. So the good thing with the UK is it's pretty lenient, and you probably need to see Busola out there. They'll probably be the best bet for you. So there are two ways you can go about it. There's a top-up program that you can actually do to redeem your third class. So you have a bachelor's program, and you have, so if that bachelor's program, the top-up program, if you finish with a 2-2, then you have the UK certificate as 2-2. Then if not, then you can actually do like a conversion, like a foundation program. So basically in your personal statements and your CV, you just need to write the same simple thing that you told me, that you know what, biochemistry, you think it's a disaster. I've always wanted to be a nurse and take care of people. I don't know if that's true, but you know, so do you understand what I'm saying? It would easily take you, and visa wouldn't be an issue as far as you follow the process. Are we together? So yes, in your case, you are good to go, to be honest. And I see you in the UK, maybe in January by God's grace when I come in. But yes, it's pretty straightforward. So you want to see that's very, very, very direct. But if you're in a case and you're looking at Canada or the US, let us meet with Pastor Chris later on for some prayers. What I simply mean is it's like finding a needle in a haystack, really. The issue is now, it's not about admissions that is the issue. But then the end game is what? Getting a visa. The reason why every one of us is going to be delighted and happy is I got my visa. So if you've gone through all those pains, application, pay money, this, and you don't get a visa, the agent is the bastard. Do you understand what I'm saying? No matter what. So it's always best to ascertain all this from the beginning. Good applications, bad applications. Then that's where we come in, advice, and this is how you should go about it. Then you can actually actualize your dream. Any questions? Yes, sir, please.
But I want to know if age is an issue for global application for masters.
What country?
US.
So it depends. So before you came, we were talking about the curve in terms of immigration study curve. So the good applications will also be like you've done a bachelor's degree, then you've been working. Even if you're 50 and you decide I want to do a master's program, then you can. So if you're doing the master's, we've seen people that they've been working 10 years after bachelor's, they say they don't want to do another bachelor's program. So the question really is why another bachelor's program? I've even seen where the ECO would even be like, why once you do the bachelor's program in your home country, come back and apply for a master's. So age is not a barrier. For any application, any country, age is not a barrier. But the problem again is visa. So you need to look at the visa process. So the ECO will be the ones asking the question. So for the US, it's not a barrier. So if you do bachelor's to master's, you can go for it. That's no problem. What it means is that the study gap period would have to come out in your CV and your personal statements would explain that, oh, this number of years, these are the things I was doing. Do you understand? So it's not going to be a problem at all. Okay? Any questions? And if you're doing the US Masters or Bachelors, you may want to see these guys here. So what it means is that if you have an application, or if you don't have, if you have an admission, we'll look at your admission. If you don't have one, we'll get you an admission. But they're basically from the US and they're granting up to $100,000 student loan for students that are looking to go to the US and Canada. So yes, when people hear $100,000 loan and no collateral, so they're not like banks that will tell you that go and bring your mother's left leg and stuff like that. Is good and what? Bad applications. At the end of the day, the loan does not count if you don't get what? Visa. Can substitute and help you out in terms of what the good or bad application at the end of the day is. Are you suited to go for this visa application in the first instance? Alright? So, but if you're in the UK, it's the easiest. If you're looking at the UK, it's one of the easiest visa process. There are people that even organize proof of funds. Even though I must tell you, some of our students that went to the UK a couple of weeks ago, when they got to Heathrow, they were told that they should open their apps and for them to see their bank statements. So, Chineke. Do you understand? So, if, pardon? Yeah. So, if someone like you, the issues, the immigration person, says, "Madam, how are you?" I now smile. Don't think the guy likes you. Probably want to open your app or your bank statement for you to be able to see. So those are some new insights that you probably want to make the arrangement to go a little bit longer. But the whole idea at the end of the day is, if you scale through, if you have your visa, whatever amount of money you spend is not really an issue, right? It only becomes an issue if things don't work out well for you. So good and bad applications, but if you're going to the UK, it shouldn't be a problem. But at least you know that you can extend. Yes, please.
That's what got me interested.
Okay.
Do they finance schools in the UK?
No, just
Not,
the
because I
US.
know they say US and Canada.
And Canada,
So what happens
no.
to somebody who has interest in the UK? And
So that's what I just said. Now there are other means for financing UK visa process. Now the UK visa process, have you guys heard of 28 days? 28 days rule. So 28 days rule means that you need to have the balance of your school fees if you're not paying your full tuition and the maintenance fees. Maintenance fees dependent on what country, what part of the UK you'll be. If you're staying in London, it's about £13,300. If you're staying outside London, it's about £9,270. So let's assume your school is Robert Gordon University outside London. So you have 9,270 plus balance of school fees. So Robert Gordon, let's say school fees is 15,000. You get £2,000 scholarship, 13,000, and you have said they ask you to pay 5,000 deposit. So out of 5,000, you have 8,000 balance, right? So 8,000 plus 9,300, that's about £17,300 must be in your account for 28 days. Now, that 28 days is for you to be able to get a visa. But note this. So, after 28 days, you submit your documents to the compliance team for them to give you a CAS for you to apply for visa, right? So that's 28 days. If you remove that money, and the embassy would not give you a visa if the bank statement you provided is about 3-4 weeks old. Are we together? So that means your 28 days is not just 28 days. You should be looking at about 90 days, really. Because now it takes about 5 weeks, do you understand, for the visa process to come out because of Ukraine war. So what this means is that the balance of, so instead of you doing 28 days, it would be better for you to do at least 90 days. So within that 90 days, you've done your CAS, your visa is out, you're even in the UK, and once they ask you for your app for you to open, gladly just give it to them and you go into the UK. So there are companies, well, I don't like advertising like big time outside like that, because those are one of the reasons why those guys are actually even checking people in the UK, because Nigerians are not everywhere. Like, we can get you what's it called, proof of funds and stuff like that. But there are organizations that will do that for you. If the Irish guys were here, I wouldn't be saying that, because automatically they don't even like that. Because to them it means as if you can't pay for it, afford it exactly. But I was trying to explain to them that, see, even the richest guy in Nigeria, if he sees the opportunity for, paying in installments, they'll take it rather than pay everything. It's just us. Do you understand? We have other things to use money to take care of. And it's not as if the person doesn't have the money. So, but some countries, they just don't feel safe with that. So in this case, you can actually go through that process. But the first thing you need to look at is what type of application. Is it masters? Are you going with dependents and stuff like that? Then if you're done with that, then that's not a problem at all. Masters. Okay. What course? Okay, should brilliant. Nursing, masters nursing, bachelor's nursing, aside you, masters nursing. Okay, do you guys have reference from previous workplace? bachelor's, UK, right? Canada. Nursing. Okay, so again, it's still, 50-50 really. So if you are okay with, taking the risk, then it's fine. You can get an admission, no doubt, but visa process is always what it is. So if you're looking at Canada, right? US, okay. So admissions is not going to be a problem. It's just the ECO. So if the ECO records that it's worth it, then they'll give it to you. So you probably would have written compelling personal statements or filled in detailed information on why you have decided to do the nurse, start another degree again. Do you understand? Then it's possible. It's 50-50. But I can't guarantee, that when it comes to. But I would also say, if you really want to do this nursing, at the end of the day, if you consider the UK, it's better off. There are some schools that actually give the opportunity for students to placement or attachment, and you probably do it in the UK or in Canada or in the US. But what it basically means that bachelor's nursing in the UK actually gives you more opportunities in terms of cross-carpeting to different countries compared to North American nursing, because their own curriculum is slightly different from the UK. But the UK's curriculum actually gives allowance for people to move. So I've seen nurses and even doctors move from the UK easily to North America to practice. So, masters in nursing. Okay, master's MBA program. Oh. Need is a personal statement also on the reason. I think yours not a problem. You shouldn't have a headache at all. Just please can you give her a chair and a cup of coffee. She's settled. It's not a problem. So good. Yes, sure bet. Exactly. So as I was saying, good bad applications. There are some that I've offered a cup of tea. In that case, it's not an issue because she already has an MBA program in the UK before, right? And now she wants to change to another program. Number one, it's your right to decide that you want to take up another program. Do you understand? So what capacity are you trying to come back down or going further up? So if you're going further up, it's much easier. So she's just switching programs. So she get the admission, and it's in the UK she's actually doing it. So the visa process is very, very straightforward. The visa process that aren't straight. I'm not trying to be like an agent of doom when I'm saying, this, but we actually get so many issues, and the best way to sort out these issues is to give students the right information right from the beginning. Anything after that, everybody will go in circles. Example, this issue of Benin Republic students. I've seen a whole lot of students that they're going up and down, trying to, they can't even get an admission. They have the money. Do you understand? And they spend money to Benin Republic, and they've been oppressing people that went to Nigerian universities. But right now, people that attended Nigerian universities are even far better off than them. So life is all about the information that you get. It actually liberates us. So right information is very, very key in achieving our goals, really. Okay? I've not been hearing about IT programs. So IT programs also, if you're probably in business management and you're looking at going into IT, it's doable. Do you understand? You can even go to Canada in some cases. What it means is, as far as you finish with a 2-1 or probably 2-1. So even if you're going to change program, you'll probably do a pre-masters in that case. But what the ECO will do in this case is that obviously it's going to be a conversion course because you did a bachelor's probably in business management, and for you to do IT, you need to learn coding and stuff like that. So data analytics UK, I even have some schools which for you that gives you placement here. So that's another thing again. If you're looking at the UK, you probably want to consider placement years too. if you get placement, it gives you that experience that people are asking for. So once you probably do the first year, the next 1 year you'll be doing placement. Then what it means is after that placement, that's 2 years, right? Then you get 2 years for study to stay in the UK. It means it's 4 years. So if you stay on to do like about 5 years, I think you can actually apply for the permanent residence easily. And if you study IT or nursing, you have higher chances of staying on. So that shouldn't be a problem at all. So in that case, you may want to, I was talking about earlier before you guys came in about the application process now. So he asked about us if we're here in Lagos. So I told him that. So I used this illustration about before COVID. I know of a lady who was a tailor, and one particular day she was very sad. And I asked her, why are you sad? She said she has to go to church. And I said, well, you don't feel like going to church, so can't you tell them in church that you can't come? She said if she tells them in church, they would be sad and they'll tell her that she's backslided. So then COVID came. After COVID, I asked her, did you go to church? She said she couldn't go to church. So what I'm simply trying to say is that internet or technology has made life easier for everybody. Do you understand? So in terms of application process, we have an easy peasy process. As a matter of fact, there's a very fundamental question we always ask students: have you been refused a visa before? So for the guys that just came through, you need to always state if you have been refused a visa or not, because it could come back to haunt you. I've seen it all across countries. If you have been refused, just mention, even if it is for holiday, just state it. I've seen students' money refunded back to them because they didn't mention that in the beginning, even before applying for visa. Is that okay?
That's the right A-level exam.
No. So A-levels that's way off. You don't even want to do that because A-level 1 year will cost you about £24,000. So 2 years is £48,000. Chai, you get money, auntie. No. You don't even have to do that. Maximum is maybe a pre-masters of some sort. Do you understand? So if you do a pre-masters, it will actually give you the opportunity to do the conversion. Okay, you said you wanted to do a bachelor's, so yes, no, you don't have to do it at A-level. But you may have to do a foundation program. Because now what you're doing is you're changing the program to nursing. Do you understand? Assuming you were staying on with your initial program, a pre-masters would suffice. Do you understand? But in this case, you have to do a foundation. Now, since it's the UK, it's not a problem. Your CV would explain that, and you're good to go. Yes, we do. SOP and CV review. Yes, we do. For the UK or for any country, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, so if you're Masters UK, you want to see University of Derby there. If you're Bachelor's, Masters, Robert Gordon hasn't come, but you want to see University of Derby, they have placement here for you. If you are Bachelor's UK, you want to see Kaplan, you've heard about Kaplan International Colleges. They offer bachelor's and foundation programs for students. So if you're the kind of person also that likes going to top universities, then they'll be your best bet. If you want to go to Canada and the US, then you can, I'll find the seat that you can see me on that. Is that okay? Alright, any more questions before I go for the hello guys that just came through? Fantastic. So, where am I Irish? They're not here. Masters in Ireland, that's a good one too. So you get 2 years for study. If you do what course first of all? Financial, just finance. Okay, so when people talk about finance, I always tell them what did you study for the grad? Accounting and can you imagine? So why do you want to just do finance as masters? To me, it's a waste of dosh if I'm the one that is sponsoring you. I'd actually like for you to do something like financial technology, because that's the way the world is going to. At the end of the day, let's look at the reason why we are gathered here today. The reason why we are gathered here is we're trying to sort out our tomorrow, right? And one of the best ways to sort out our tomorrow is through education. And at the end, and part of that sorting out tomorrow is that maybe Nigeria is not really offering us the best of the best in everything. So doing that abroad will actually give us the opportunity. So do you know that Nigeria is like about 10 or 15 years behind the other countries? So 10? 30, but I agree. And why do I agree? In 2003, I went to Spain in 2003 for holiday. So I met this Nigerian guy. To be honest, and maybe like last year, I actually reflected on what this guy told me, and I laughed to myself, and people were around me and they thought I was mad. And what happened? So I was walking through Plaza de Catalunya in Barcelona, so I met a Nigerian guy. So we became friends, he took me around and everything. So when I told him I was going back to Nigeria, going back to university, and he looked at me and said, nah, wow. Igbo man. He said, why are you going back to Nigeria? And then there was OPC issues and stuff. I said, I need to complete my studies, blah, 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 blah. And he said, do you know that by the time that he is not going back to Nigeria, by the time Nigeria gets to where, in his words, by the time when Nigeria go reach where you go, and go go. That was his words. But a couple of months ago, I was doing something. I was giving, a speech somewhere, and actually occurred when I was making reference to the issue of Elon Musk going to space, finding life in Mars. But you know that's actually true. Exactly. But we haven't even, we're not even thinking about that really. So you see, and at the end of the day, in as much as it looks easy to go to Mars, if I ask you, bros, I'm going to pay for your voyage to Mars now, do you think twice even though I'm paying for you? Why? Because Mars is not like going to America or UK that you've seen people go shopping and stuff. The knowledge you have of Mars is pretty limited. So you don't think it twice to even go on that plane to go to Mars. So at the end of the day, our limitation is basically based on our mindset. So back to your question. Exactly. You need to take a program such as like financial technology in order to be able to, get to the job. Do you understand? And you drop your CV and a certificate. What's written on it? MSc what? Finance. So it takes extra talk for you to get to core. That's even to give you the opportunity. So assuming yourself and her dropped your CV and she has fintech, they will probably give her more audience because they believe definitely with fintech she has what you have and extra. It's the plain truth. So it's like, I've seen it, it's like people that have, say, marketing degree and MBA. So they would listen to MBA because for some, they know that it encompasses everything, except they're looking for specialists or marketing and digital marketing. So digital marketing has the traditional knowledge of marketing, definitely. But digital is what the world wants to hear now. So you see the difference. Now again, you think that you have to do coding and stuff like that. No, exactly, at all. Do you understand? It's really dependent on what you want to do. But in terms of, again, if you have a bachelor's in accounting and finance, do you understand? The rudiment and the program itself, accounting, if you're looking at core accounting and finance, get what's it called? What's this stuff that Kaplan does again? ACCA, ICANN. So you don't, if you're chartered, then you don't even need to be dealing with, because that's what supersedes if your bachelor's. Because there's some people with that bachelor's degree in the UK will have ACCA. And ACCA is basically the superior certification. So if you now have fintech, or what they call the best of both worlds. Do you understand? So yes, I can see you later and give you the details. And the visa process also. Are you working?
Yes, I am.
Okay, brilliant. So again, the Irish visa to good bad application. If Michael was here, or if you get here on time, said it's coming in the afternoon. So what it means is that the Irish visa process is slightly different from the rest. They would want to see your sponsor. If you say you're working, they want to see details. They don't really ask for proof of funds like the UK. Even the amount that they're asking for is pretty less. It's about 7,000, 8,000 euros. Now this is the trick. If, for instance, your sponsor presents a bank statement of just 8,000 euros, you'll get refused because they would ask, what about the rest at home? Are they going to eat? Do you understand? I've seen it. They are straightforward. They will simply put it there that you've declared that you have 8,000 euros to sponsor your cousin or whoever you're sponsoring. But we've also found that you have other dependents. So what are you going to use to support them if this person leaves? So we always advise 8,000 euros is pretty less, about 4 million naira. If you have maybe about 7, 8 million naira in your accounts with Ireland visa application, it's very straightforward. You'll get it. And there are some schools in the case of Ireland, they require They require like a description of the deposits that you put into your account. So every money you put into your account, it's best for you to just open an account, put the money in, and when you're ready, do the application. But if you're putting in money, taking it out, you have to explain the deposits. So basically, as they say in Ireland, just keep it clean. That's the own visa process for straightforward. 2 years visa application, 2 years if you finish your masters to stay. If you get a job and you work for 4 years in Ireland, automatically you get a residence permit. And after 5 years, you can actually apply for an Irish passport and you get the benefits and you become Irish. Let's get cracking. So yeah, that's the Irish. So any questions? Bad and good application. So basically, in your own case, we were talking about the immigration curve. So if you've had a bachelor's program before, they want students to do a master's instead of doing a bachelor's again. If you finish secondary school and you don't have a bachelor's program, you need to explain the gap in education. But since in your own case, it's a good...
Okay, so what's still like a postgraduate what about
college, if you're going to...
postgraduate diploma rather than a university, like...
it doesn't matter if it's a college or a university.
Okay.
What really matters is the program that the college is offering.
Okay.
As far as the college is on a designated learning institution list, then you're fine. And as far as your course is actually on the progress, then it's fine. So I don't think you have a problem. So I'll be coming in and I can take your questions and applications one by one for the Canada, the visa, the USCIS. Any other questions?
Healthcare administration and management.
What do I think?
Yes. For US, I know Canada. I know.
To be honest, in that case, how do I answer that? I am indifferent because I'm not the one taking it. Do you understand? So the question is, what do you think? Do you think it would actually help you achieve your future goals? Do you understand? So if you recognize it's actually going to help your future goals, then you go for it. What matters basically is, are you doing a bachelor's or a master's?
Masters.
So if you're doing a master's, then you're fine. Do you understand?
I'm a pharmacist. I don't know if, like, would I get schools? That's what because I was doing Canada, but for some reason...
The schools are not, so...
No, I got an admission to France shop, but by the time we weighed the cost and all that, it was quite much.
Expensive, right?
Yes, the school fees was 15,100.
Canadian dollars?
Yes.
That's not much, Mama. That's shawarma money.
I have a family.
No,
of 2
so
kids,
that is even still not much, to be honest, because if it's 15,000 Canadian dollars, what about if you're doing masters? 30k Canadian dollars. Canadian dollars is like Benin Republic to Sefa, isn't it? What I'm trying to say is, compared to the UK, and it's not an expensive venture, to be honest. Because even if you're going to the UK and you're doing dependents and stuff like that, it's even still much more. Do you understand? So if you say cost is the thing, then maybe Empower guys would actually be you need to speak with them. So they're giving out student loans of about from $50,000 to $100,000. You don't have to bring your mother's right hand for collection of loan, you know, and it's dependent on school process and stuff like that. Do you understand? So they would actually help you in that case, to be honest. And if the school upon the listed ones, yeah, fine. That shouldn't be a problem. Yes, too much. I'm going to give Empower, then after Empower, Kaplan will be doing the talking. All right. Everyone, welcome, Elder David.
Keep standing like.
Yeah, thank you very much for said. We're the funding guys. You need money? Come to us. $100,000. Totally accessible. And just like he said, you don't need to bring your father's leg, your grandfather's kidney, your great-grandfather's, you know, like properties to get access to our loan. You don't need the collateral, you don't need a guarantor, you don't need any one of those things. And the best part is you can pay back the loan in 10 years. Depending on the country you are going to. If you are going to the UK or Europe, you can pay back the loan in 20 years. Yeah, so of course, I'm going to explain the way it works. So, just like he said, we're called ProConnect Pay. So just to give a little context to who we are. We're called ProConnect Pay, one edu fintech company focused on the African continent. So, Empower Financing, yeah, can you hear me? Exclusive African partners. Okay, you are peace and quiet now. Exclusive African partners, which means if you need a loan to study in any one of the countries where our loan is applicable, well, obviously the guys we come to. And obviously, why would the guys come to? We're Africans, we're Nigerians, we're Ghanaians, we're South Africans, so we understand the African context when it comes to explaining the way the loan works. And you know for a fact that getting a loan to study is not something that we're used to as a culture in Africa. So we don't see people tell us, scam, holy, thief, these, like funny things that we get to hear and see on social media. But we know that, okay, it's a cultural thing. We're not used to the concept of, you know, getting a loan. Then there's the other part of, but Americans, I hear that they are still paying loan 100 years later. People that generation is paying for them. They work like that for us. And why is that? Majorly because we only fund students that are going for commercially relevant courses. So it means they are coming to us and tell us you want to study education. It's not bad though. If you are going on scholarship, nothing to you. You can go for education. But if you are coming to collect our loan, you cannot say, ProConnect Pay, please, I need a loan to study education. I'm very passionate about children. I used to teach him Makoko. He does not work on this platform. You will not see shishi of our money. Not because it's bad, like I said. We're looking at your income potential when you graduate. So, it doesn't matter what you study in your first degree. We can nudge you towards courses that we deem commercially relevant. Courses in areas such as health or health sciences. So the lady that said she has a third class, where is she? Please do not feel bad, man. We have something for you. You have a low 2-2, no problem. We have something for you. You have a first class or a 2-1, we have something for you. But now let me say this. Oftentimes, when Nigerians think of Japan, we think about it with the wrong mindset. And what's the wrong mindset? You assume that your life is so hard in Nigeria or Africa. So let me go abroad. Maybe my life will get better. But I can tell you for free that on our platform, we're a DIY platform. What it means is do it yourself. And you have to be high potential. You have to be high potential. If you are not an high potential candidate, to a large extent, you will not get a visa. It's not a course, it's just reality. You have to be an high potential candidate. So, high potential in the sense that, like I said, we do not judge people based on their first degree. We know that economic hardship, the kind of educational system we have here, can make anyone come out with any degree. But even if you are the third class, what efforts have you made to build a career for yourself that is clearly defined? So, as much as we want to give you money, as much as we sell our products utilizing the name Japan, we are more about the quality of the candidates. So anyone that comes on our platform, they know that if you are coming to us, you have to be smart mentally and intellectually, and you have to be willing to do the hard work. Unless you are fortunate, of course, you graduate, you get a good job, or you get a job that allows you to forge a definite career path, then of course, your chances are way higher. But in case you do not find yourself in that category, because I understand that in Nigeria it's more about survival. So today you do marketing, next week you do logistics, upper week you do teaching, upper week you are office secretary. I know for a fact that in Nigeria, because of survival mode, it's really very difficult building a definite career if you are not fortunate to get a job in a structured organization that allows you build a career. So we take cognizance of that kind of shortcoming. That's why every Wednesday we have a mentoring session for members of our Japan network, where we get to teach you, groom you, train you. But the key is you being a valuable candidate before you can access our loan. Now see, anybody can get approved for the loan. Anybody can get approved for capacity addition. Maybe you get somebody to help you package your SOP, package your CV, package your LinkedIn profile. Anybody can. But I can tell you for free that at the visa center, you will likely get bounced if you are not an high potential candidate, you are not a valuable candidate based on what you've done here so far. So as much as we all know as Nigerians, including those guys that interview you at the visa stage, they know you want to run. They know. But see, subjectively, they also need to see that you're a quality candidate. And trust me, it's only UK that does paper style, where so long as you submit all the documents required, they will consider you on the merit of your documents. But Canada and US is mostly subjective. The person reading your profile or interviewing you is not that determines if you are really worth it or not. And the truth is that for many of us that are here in Africa, we are way better than those guys in terms of what we've achieved, a level of exposure. But you must be able to impress that on them. So, like we tell people, we don't influence admission for you. Your admission is your responsibility. We do not influence your getting a visa, but we will groom you to ensure that your ability to get a visa is highly increased. So, as far as I'm concerned, working as a team lead, I don't know anybody in my personal network that gets bounced for visa. And that's reality. Because everybody you recommend must be quality. And the way our loan works is very simple. So let's say you want to study business analytics, MSc, 2 years program, and of course you want to go to maybe the University of Delaware. There are specific schools in the US we work with, and in Canada we work with. So it means that for you to access our loan, you must apply to any one of those schools. And there are 5 or 6 core areas we focus on. We focus on business courses. We focus on health or health sciences courses. We focus on science-oriented courses, technology-oriented courses, law-oriented courses or technology. We focus on engineering courses and mathematics courses. So there are like 6 areas I've mentioned where our loan is applicable. So any course you study in any one of this demography would obviously, of course, consider funding you for our loan. Now, so long as you do not have a bad credit history, because I can tell you for free, one of the first things we will do is to check your credit history in Nigeria. Whether you collect a loan or not, it does not matter. If you're not someone that likes collecting a loan, it's fine. But if you've collected a loan before and you refuse to pay and your name has been blacklisted on credit bureau, your village people have caught you finally. Because I can tell you for free, you will not get qualified for our loan. Because it tells us they are not a trustworthy person. And obviously, if you now give you $100,000 US, So let's say in your first year of studying business analytics, now let me even bust your brain. We pay for your tuition, we pay for your cost of living, feeding, accommodation, your utility expense, jai money to send to babe or boyfriend, sugar daddy money. You probably want to maybe like buy a phone, your iPhone for yourself, MacBook for yourself, anything. We cover all of those expenses in your cost. Yeah, there are some schools that mandate you actually buy a MacBook. So it's not jai. It's here that would think that somebody having iPhone is big man thingy. Over there, everybody has iPhone. Everybody has a MacBook. It's a normal tool. The latest one comes out, you can exchange it and get the latest one. It's not big man thing. It's just people utilizing the latest technology. So that's why, of course, they are more advanced than we are here. Yeah, buy iPhone or MacBook. I can toast 10 girls today. Yeah, this guy's a big boy. So over there, of course, we cover for your cost of living. The number 30 we cover is your health insurance, and the last is your flight tickets out of Africa. Your flight tickets out of Africa. So if you are coming from Ghana or Nigeria or South Sudan, wherever you are coming from, we cover for your flight tickets. Now, you wouldn't see any of the money whilst you are here in Nigeria. No, you won't see anything here. The money will only be disbursed directly to your school when you've gotten admission and when you've gotten your visa. With us, you do not need proof of funds. We don't even do proof of funds as a business. It is illegal and it's unethical. So we don't even do anything called proof of funds. We'll give you a letter that clearly states you've been approved for a loan. With that letter, your school will release your I-20 or your visa application document for Canada to enable you begin your visa application process. That same letter that was given to you to send to your school, you also get to print it out and attach it as part of your documentation. Now let me say this. From our experience so far, based on the candidates that have gone through us successfully, you do not even need to show them your letter of how you intend to fund your education if you are an high quality candidate. Your visa officer will be so excited to speak to you because they can connect the dots between your aspiration to study abroad, your past experience, and your future aspiration. Those three elements, once you can communicate that intensely, passionately, you will largely get, and of course if you now have like extra achievements like being a Tony Lumelo entrepreneur or being a part of a particular program that makes a lot of sense, that also helps to increase your credibility. And just like he said, all of you that come with the mindset of, I want to jack out to education, though, I must go with my husband, I must go with my wife, we do not encourage that. Like he said, make sense, get yours first. When you get yours and you're there, you can now petition for your family to join you. It makes sense that, oh, these kids are below 18 years old, please, so can they come with me? Unless your child is below 3 years old, and of course it's still being breastfed, then it makes sense to apply with that baby as you move. But if your child is above 3 years old and you have a husband, unless husband and wife wants to go for the loan, but we will still tell you that you will apply for your visa, your admission, your loan independently, not as a couple. So if the both of you get a visa independently, based on your pedigree and your quality, it becomes easy to petition for your 3 children to also join you immediately as you move. But not wanting to apply, husband wants to read, then you want her to follow you and your 3 children to follow you. You will get bounced, like you will get bounced with immediate effects. Yes, you will collect that 10 years first before this deport you back to your country. So please ensure that you don't lie, you don't falsify any information on your documentation, because if you are caught, that is a crime and it's called perjury, and that's 10 years for you. And I don't think anybody wants to leave Nigeria, like after we've had this hard life that's caused by APC and PDP, they still want to go out there and serve on that hard life again. Obviously, we don't want to do that. So let's imagine in your first year you get $40,000. In your second year you get another $40,000. So that's $80,000, right? In your first year you are servicing only $40,000. In your second year, you not pay back our money, you were only servicing the loan. So it means you begin to service the $80,000. When you graduate, now you have 6 months moratorium between when you graduate and when you get a good job to now begin to pay back the interest and the capital and the principal, and you can spread that payment in 10 years. The interest rate is fixed and the same amount every year. So let's imagine that you pay back the loan in 5 years or in 3 years. There's no penalty for paying the loan early on. If you pay on time, you only pay interest for the number of years the loan was with you. If you pay back in 10 years, you pay back in 10 years. So you might ask me, but Elder, if you guys are not doing collateral, you're not doing guarantor, so how do you not track me to make sure you will not run away? Or that you don't go run away. You can't even run away. Unless you want to live in the forest when you get there. But you can't run away because everything there is connected. Your social security number, your bank details, you cannot run away. Unless you want to live in the forest. And I don't think anybody will leave Nigeria and go and live in the forest over there because you will suffer like hell. Because when you don't have access to your banking information or anything, what exactly are you now doing? What's your plan when you are living here? So far we've had a 99% repayment rate. We've disbursed over $3 billion to students from over 160 countries. And the repayment rate has been 99% so far. Because anybody that gets that funding, they know they are doing it because they want a better life for themselves. So if you have a first class, you have a 2-1 upper degree, you have a 2-2, the lower and the lowest 2-2, or you have a third class, or you're an HND holder, you can qualify for our facility, whether it's to the US or to Canada. Europe, UK, Germany, France, that loan is only applicable to C-suite executives. So it means you don't want to Japan. You just want to go and get that global education at Oxford, at Cambridge, at INSEAD, and you want to come back to Africa to continue your extremely good job and high-paying job. People are going to Europe can pay back the loan in 20 years. So we really encourage everybody that if you know you're not a C-suite guy, please go to US or Canada. If you're any 10 naira monthly, you can apply for a Canadian loan. Now, Lenny said, we are very particular about quality. So, yeah, you may not have gotten a full-time job or you lost your job. It should not still be an excuse for you not building at least that track record. And like you can see, we like people that are smart, people that are intelligent, because you are not just going to become a member of our Japan network. No, you graduate to become an academic scholar, you graduate to become a professional. And the good thing is that when you follow our counsel and the kind of courses that we deem commercially relevant, working in Fortune 500 companies, working in Fortune 1000 companies will not be a problem. Because you have that global education. So if you want to go for a PGD, we'll fund you. In fact, the best part is, if you decide that, oh, I still want a master's after my 1 year PGD, we'll fund you for your 2 year program. So you have a third class, and you want to do a PGD and a master's in Canada or in the US, we'll fund you. If you decide that I'm satisfied with the PGD, but we would always advise people, don't just do PGD and chill. Go for that top-up master's. It's going to help you in years to come as you go through corporate America. So very key. So if you need more information, of course, on how to join our POCONEP Japan network and continue this conversation by that text there, 2 text there, yeah. That is where we are. So thank you very much, everyone. If you have any questions, I think I can take questions. Where? So no. It's a realistic question. Obviously, we cannot hold the dead body, and every loan that is given to you is insured. So, but we don't pray. There's no point you will leave Nigeria and go and die in the US. There's no point. But obviously, if somebody dies, your business with us has ended. But not that you can't afford your debt to say, let me shoot myself. What they're shooting. So, no, trust me, see, Africans can be funny. Trust me, Africans can be funny. People can be very funny. You don't hear the funny things and funny that we've seen. People are very funny. So, it's a thought. But obviously, if somebody dies, you are going to verify very well now that person is dead. So in that case, obviously the responsibility has ended. Even if your family is there, it's not like we have to pass on that responsibility of family. No.
Only for postgraduate.
No, we do for undergraduates. If you're an undergraduate student that want to access our loan, you need to currently be in 200 level. We do not fund a 4-year program. We do not fund a 3 years program. We only fund 2 years program. So you want to go for a PhD. Will not go fund you unless you started your PhD over there and you have your last 2 years. But more importantly, we only fund commercially relevant courses. Not because other courses are bad, but because we look at your potential income to enable you to pay back our loan seamlessly.
Okay. There's also, we fund diploma programs because there are some 2 year diploma
postgraduate diploma programs. We fund postgraduate diploma programs, yes. We don't fund that diploma that they do before they enter 100 level. No. But if you are going for a postgraduate diploma program, yes, we fund postgraduate diploma, but only to specific universities and specific kind of courses too.
Because there are some diploma programs that are highly lucrative, like you've been saying, like drilling tech.
So I like you said drilling tech, or if you said drilling alone, I'll say for you. But so added tech, so yeah, that can be considered. So long as, and please, like I said, we have partner schools our loan is applicable to. So we only fund schools that our loan is applicable to. If you apply to a school outside of our partner network, we'll obviously not be able to give you a loan. So you need to apply to a school that will partner with. And let me just add this. You do not need to get admission to apply for our loan. Both of them can go side by side. The process of getting admission, getting your visa date, submitting all of the documents can take about 6 months. So we encourage people to start early. So if your goal is, I need to leave this country by January, this is the best time to start. Because the timeline between you getting admission, getting your papers, getting the loan approved, all of those things can take about 6 months to do. Then, if you apply for a US visa today, you might probably get a 6 months date or 4 months date timeline for a student visa interview. Only in rare cases, of course, you can apply for like emergency dates if you are resuming this September. But if you're going to apply for an emergency date, my advice is that ensure that you are truly high quality candidates. And like I said, even if you are not high quality, in our network we'll teach you, we'll groom you, we'll mentor you, so long as you're willing to learn. So we want people to Japan, but we're more concerned about the quality of the candidate. That's the only difference, I think, in what we offer. And we do not influence admission, we do not influence visa. So don't come and tell us, oh, Elder, do you guys influence my admission to this school? No, we don't. And we don't do admission consultancy. We're only the money. Money, come to us. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're talking about paying fees, paying the investment. Can I negotiate what I actually want for you?
Oh, yes, of course. The least amount you can take is $2,000 US. If you say it's 2K you want, no problem, we'll give you 2K.
Okay, so if I say, for instance, I just want it for my fees alone.
Totally fine. But of course, you will need to prove to us how you intend to fund the remaining.
Yes. And you said you don't fund educational courses. What of educational technology?
Anything.
Because I know that teachers in Finland, they don't joke with them. They are well paid.
Finland.
Special education.
Finland. That's Finland.
Education teachers too. Also, like
based on our statistics and data for US and Canada, we do not think that teachers are like. Let me give an average amount a teacher, a professor gets paid in Arizona that I've lived in. There's something $1,000 per annum. That's very small money. By American standard, you're a low income earner. But you can actually live comfortably with that kind of salary. But if you're taking a loan, you're a very, very low income earner. I will not even give you our money.
And you won't take education and technology?
So because education is inclined, unless the course is purely tech. For example, you have tech startups. So if you are going for maybe like a technology entrepreneurial program, and maybe your area of specialty is EdTech, you can go and pursue that area of specialty on your own later. But just that because you're coming to study with us, it should be what we deem commercially relevant. But if you decide that my passion is in the EdTech, you can pursue that. If you get an opportunity that pays you well, why not? If you see an opportunity that pays you well in EdTech, and you see an opportunity that pays you higher, which will you go for? Will you go for passion or money? In America, not in Nigeria. You also consider your financial state now, because you know that out of this money, see, on average, if you collect $40,000, and I'm saying this based on our current calculation, you need at least $1,600 monthly.
Yes.
At the end of your program to be paying. And let's say worst case scenario, you get a job that they pay $45,000 per annum. First, US taxes are very high. Some states like California go as high as 40% of your income monthly. Some other states do 25%. So we only do an average percentage of 20%. So let's say you're earning about $4,000 something monthly. First, they remove 20% of your money. Health insurance is a must. So you must pay for your health insurance. Let's imagine now that you got a car that you bought on credit. So on a monthly basis, you'll be paying. Now don't forget that your lifestyle as a student will also change a little, because now you're working. And after all, your village people in Nigeria see you working in Microsoft, they say, you're working in Microsoft, send us money now. So you still send family members money, and you still need to pay back your loan. So when you deduct those statutory expenses, you notice that you just have almost nothing left. So you know the problem with that kind of expense is that any small emergency that shakes you, it means that our loan becomes second fiddle in your plan. Because you must say, man go survive first, so now they alive, and they pay loan. But our data does not back now they are alive, they pay loan. We want to ensure that you can pay your loan consistently without issues. And of course, the good thing about that society is that when you're paying back your loan as at 20, you get access to bigger financial assets. You can buy, you can do mortgage, you can get a car, you can do a lot of other stuff. Because of course your credit worthiness and your credit score gets to increase and improve.
Are you serious? Okay. How you doing? How is she? I'm not seeing her in the land. She's a good payment for you, you can with black market. She can arrange it for you 2 days.
University of Essex and Nottingham Trent University, UWI Bristol, and we have a wide range of courses that students can apply to, ranging from engineering to nursing to what are other popular courses? Business management, name it. We have loads and loads of degrees. So we can talk further. And our tuition ranges from about £14,000 to about £28,000, depending on the course you're taking. Of course, business courses are cheaper than in the science and engineering courses. So that's what I'm saying, minimum of £14,000 to about £28,000. We also do have a tuition scholarships that we offer, early payment discounts up to about £3,000 to off your tuition. So that's you're looking about minimum say 12,000, depending on the course and the length of the program you're taking. So very quickly, I'll move to our US schools. We have 4 US schools: Arizona State University, University of Connecticut, Pace University, and the Simmons University. Our popular one is Arizona State University, and it's in Arizona, Phoenix. It has 5 campuses. And for undergraduate courses, you can get tuition fees for as low as $10,000. So that's for undergraduate courses only. They have a very tiny campus where they offer tuition for as low as $10,000. So that's undergraduate only, and it's a very less than 200 students on that campus. So undergraduates, if you're looking at transfer or students who are coming straight from secondary school too. But for other master's programs, we have them available at Arizona State University. Next, we have University of Connecticut. University of Connecticut is very close to Boston. We have a lot of other US universities, but we have only undergrad only. And Pace University is in New York. New York is like the commercial capital of the US. So we have undergrad and postgraduate courses available at Pace University. Finally, we have Simmons University. Simmons University is an all-female undergrad university, and they're focused on women leadership. So we have a 50% scholarship for that, and it's undergraduate only. So please, I don't want to see no guys telling me they want to apply to Simmons. All right, it's all female undergrad, but the postgrad is mixed. So probably if you maybe check them out online, you can apply there. But we have a 50% scholarship for Simmons University, and also depending on the US schools you apply, you can get maybe up to, for Arizona, you can get to about $15,000. That's postgrad for postgraduate courses. So that's just a brief summary of. But then again, on a case-by-case basis, then I can advise on what course or which program to go for. So do I have any questions, or if you have any questions, we're available till the fair is over then. Thank you. The cheapest campus.
When you uploaded it, you found the application yourself, right? So part of the campus, your maker you're working now, your company, right? No, it has to be latex. Like from your latest right? Yes. So that means the recommendation letter is
Okay.
and the other one is academic.
Okay, so the people that we have for funding is EMPA, which is student loans up to 100,000 $. So, what we should do, okay, Canada, Masters undergraduate.
To require for visa, you need your Duolingo results or the test for a visa process. I'll double check with them.
That's
mention it, but that now depends on you. Another one.
just distraught because of the money that you spend.
These purposes, you need to be able to show
Because they are good. Yeah,
but
government
So that's the reason why
how long does your transcript like that?
The main thing is how work is back to the
So practical study, except someone goes to advise you wrongly, the visa process is pretty straightforward.
Another one. This one.
Alright, all of that back to
yes, as John as well.
That one, look at this one.